Another morning in Thailand on the farm. Today, and it's rice season, so we spoke about that in the last video that I put together, and I showed you the rice fields and the walkways and some ants' nests. Now, we do have some setup to take care of working up to harvest. Like, the first thing was making all the walkways accessible, so we went through and cut all the long grass there to make it easier to move around. And we have to drop the level of the water in the paddy fields, rice fields, gradually. So we've been doing that, but we're at a stage now where the water level is getting right down, but we need to do the final pumping and reduce that further so that we can call the harvester in. You can see our crop there. It's markedly yellow compared to what it was. A comparison would be in the foreground here, just the other side of the dam, or the dam, is grass and weed growing in the water, and that's definitely green. But you can see that the rice crop beyond it is most definitely yellow in comparison. So I've got the pump running here this morning. Down along this border we have this long clong, metre deep channel that feeds into the big dam down near the house. And as you can hear by that noise, I have the pump running and we're transferring water. This is one of the walkways midway along the farm. So the water down at this end gets trapped. I'll just move away from the pump a bit. Okay, so the water in this section of the clong becomes stationary. It can't get beyond that Earth Bund. So we have to use the pump to transfer it from this bottom end of the farm up into the clong, which feeds the main dam, which is what it's doing now. You can see that the water in the dam, which is a reasonable sized catchment, is quite close to the top of the walkway. But honestly, those few inches relates to quite a few thousand litres over the surface area of the dam, so that can keep pumping for a while. There is a pipe from that main dam going underground beyond the house to the small dam. And we've opened that this morning, so the big dam is draining into the small dam. And from this end, we're topping up the big dam, trying to drain out this clong. Now, we don't necessarily have to remove all the water from the clong itself, but we want to drop the level of the water in the clong enough that any surface water, I don't know how far down, maybe a foot down, will actually drain out of those fields and make the footing a bit firmer for the machine when it comes through, not just slush and mud. So that's what we're doing here now. In this particular paddy, you can see pretty well everything has fallen down, but there's a mixture of weed and everything in it, so I think when the harvester goes through there, and it can go through there, and it can pick up most of that actually, we'll end up with a mixture of seed and stuff from other things that are growing in there, so we might have to put that separate and use that for another purpose, or it might just need extra cleaning before we put it in sacks. So, beautiful day here. We'll keep wandering down here. We've got a few minutes to have a chat. It's early morning. It's about 6:30. Guys, here I don't look at the clock very much. I have my internal clock that gives me a good guesstimate of what time of day it is. I don't know how that works, but it does. I'm normally close, either spot on or within about 20 minutes of what the real time is. But days of the week, I don't often look at a calendar. I haven't got a boss waiting for me at work to turn up at the right time on a Monday morning, and I often lose track of it. Mem knows, because she's always looking at a calendar, planning out what days she's going to be selling things in the market, what are the auspicious days, etc. But I really don't have a need for that. And so you might think it's sort of age-related and, oh, he's getting forgetful. Not at all. I just don't give a bugger what day it is anymore. I'm quite happy just sailing along, enjoying each day as it comes, and addressing the problems of that day as it comes. There's a saying in Thailand, something like "kadglikma." Oh, I forget what it is, but it basically means don't think too much. And that's not naive or whatever. It's really just their outlook on life. If something is giving you trouble, causing you to think a lot, stop thinking, take action, or just give it a miss. Move on, because it's not making you happy, and it's probably making you confused and unsatisfied. And it sounds like a bit of a naive, easy way to sort of deal with life, but that's the reality of it. Very, very often, people like myself from the Western world make life more complicated than it really is. And it comes down to we think about it too much. We should actually either take action or move on. I know that I have benefited from the amount that I'm able to embrace that. But I know it's not easy. I know you fall back into your old habits. But have a think about it. Maybe you're in the same situation. You might find life's a lot happier when you're actually doing things rather than just thinking about them. Move on. Take action. If the action happened to be not quite right, or at the quite right time, well, it's not a failure. It's a learning process. You move on. Don't get unhappy about it. The world's not going to end. And if it does, you probably won't know about it, so you can't change that. Move on, guys. Life's waiting for you. Thinking too much is just makes you unhappy. You don't have to be a non-thinking person. You just have to choose the things that are of value and you can change by thinking. And the rest of it, take some action, have a failure. Don't count it as a failure, count it as a learning process, and try again. And yeah, it gives you more time in your life to actually deal with the things you can process, that you can have an effect on, that do make you happy. Okay. And you're not really seeing me, but I'm here. Got my hat on. And I come from a hot country, from Australia. The UV, the ultraviolet light in Australia is extremely harsh. Very, very strong. One of the strongest places in the world. Consequently, things like wearing hat and sunscreen are things that we're all told we should do a lot. We don't do it as often as we should do. Coming to Thailand, I found that even though it's a hotter climate, there's a high humidity, and the atmosphere is not as devoid of, the filtering effect that you get from, the water and the humidity in the atmosphere. It's quite markedly different. You can actually pick that up with things like in Australia, in the hot season, your skin will get very, very sort of dry, and you do have to take care of it. Here in Thailand, that doesn't happen. I find that my skin is actually in a lot better condition than when I'm sort of in Australia. I think it's to do with the UV, and I think a lot of your skin oils and things like that are retained here. Just one little fact, one of those things you kind of notice. So we're back here by the noise of the, and you can see it pumping away merrily. That's a little Honda GX pump, and my God, it really pushes out an enormous volume of water. If we look down here now, in the time that we went walking, it has dropped the level quite remarkably. You see those couple of flowers towards the bottom section? Well, they were just poking their heads above water when we initially shot this. So that's pushing it out. The big dam doesn't appear to have changed much in its level, but then again, it's got a surface area from here all the way up to the house. So that's a lot of water. A few inches is quite a few thousand litres of water. So that's one of the early tasks of the day. From here we've got some other things going on. Mem ran the cultivator across the other side where the lemons are, the big area there where we have our flower patch 2 and 3 normally. So she's getting that ready. I think she's ordered some seedlings, but she set aside a patch yesterday where she wants to grow some other produce, and she had a big bag of corn. And so they put a big batch of corn in there yesterday, and we got that watered. And while we're doing that, the lemon trees that are around us, we went through and cut out some of the dead wood out of the ones that are viable. And you do get a bit of dead wood, you do have to cut that back. Which is probably one of the reasons why fruit growers and people in orchards, you do tell you need to cut the trees back by a third or thereabouts each season to keep them happy and keep new growth happening. There's somebody sitting there quietly. Good morning, young lady. And the other young lady. Two young ladies together. How's Sisom? Them's burning something down here, you saw that earlier. And the dogs are coming out to meet us. Not quite, just came down for a look. So this is a small dam. The pipe from the big dam comes out from underneath that. It's about where that bit of deadwood is. It's that branch of a tree that's fallen in there that I'll have to clean out. So that's filling this dam. Underneath our sad old coffee shop there, it's resting on a concrete fence post. There's another blue plastic, a 4-inch pipe that goes under the concrete beyond the coffee shop and down to the bottom corner of the farm. The walkway that was over there, that was really badly overgrown, I spent some time cutting that out and cleaning that up. So we'll get some things growing there again in pots. A lot of the water lilies, which do grow out across the surface, I pulled a lot of those back in and cut them, burnt them. There's a big pile of them over there drying out. They'll get burnt later. So that's what's happening there. I have a problem filming with a mobile phone. The problem is that you look at yourself on screen, but the camera is actually off to one side at the actual top of the phone. When you're in a landscape and you've got the telephone turned, it's like way to the left and you're not looking at it. So I'm paying attention to you guys. I'm not being rude. It's just the way it is. It's just one of those things you don't really think about and you have to train yourself to do. Okay, we have the flowers coming along here. Been doing a bit of tendering on them. Bit of a clean up along the fence line here, some more stuff to burn. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like burning, but it's a fact of rural life, it has to happen. We've got a couple of bougainvilleas going here, and I think we acquired them a long time ago and we stuck them in the ground and forgot about them. But they're actually coming up quite nice now. We clean out around them, give them a bit of space to grow, and they will take off. But of course they're a climber. So I'm not sure how we're going to support them and get them to run, but I guess with this one, the trick might be to actually get some runners to hit that tree, which we don't care a lot about, and let it take over that, if it will. Here's my friend that follows you around anytime you go walking. Here's the plants. The flowers. As you can see, they're coming up quite healthy. So it has been a bit of work here. So initially they were in a hollow, and put them in, and the hollow gives us sort of a channel for the water to live in to initially get them kick-started. And then the thing is, you go through the high, what was high on this side, and you turn that in to the actual flowers, and it covers the bottoms of the stems a bit, gives them a better rooting, and then when that was the channel, it's now the high side, because we've turned soil from this side into there, and soil that was up into there, and ended up with a channel either side of it now. So it's not something that you kind of work out initially. When you saw us put the flowers in, you might think, oh, they're going to drown in water. Well, for a short period of time, yes, and that was the purpose. But then the high bit either side gets turned into the middle to support them as they're growing, and they do grow quite quick. The tops tend to grow quicker than their root system, so they can very quickly become top heavy and fall in a slight breeze. So you turn the soil in and supports them further up the stem, which has grown in that short period of time. It gives them the support. So it's not something you think of until you're actually doing it. I didn't quite understand it when I watched Mem do it. Obviously I'm following, she's the farmer, and I follow what she has done and tried and tested. And here, these flowers here, sorry, I said flowers, these plants here are already showing buds. Now, that's not unusual, but when they were smaller, the smaller plants, Mem will go through and she'll pinch out the heart of each plant. And sometimes it buds on it, sometimes it isn't. But the purpose of that is that it prevents the plant from being tall and slim. If it's tall and slim, it won't have much of a head on it, and it won't have as much flowering shoots or flowering branches. So you pinch out the head and it makes them spread. And that's true of very, very many things in, what's the word for it, horticulture. It's done with vegetables, it's done with flowers, it's done with a lot of things. So that's what's happening there, and short period of time, big result. I haven't been posting as much as I could, but we have been very busy. This first couple of months back, we've had so much to get under control because literally one person cannot do it. And so with me here, Mem gets to get on with all the important things to her, like the flowers and so on. But as far as the sort of undergrowth and the walkways and cleaning out around the bananas, which have an enormous amount of dead leaves during their growing period, not that they're dying, but old leaves dying and new ones coming as they go up. You can see on the stem here, all of these are old leaves that have been cut off, But they grow out, and you have this big bunch around there. Partly that is to shade the actual stem, natural, but it gets too much, and so we cut those off. Well, when I'm here, we have the manpower to do it, and cut those off and burn them. There's a big pile over there that's sitting in the water in the Amplar. That was all the clean out. That's quite a mound. So not doing nothing. I haven't been showing it all to you. I've been busy doing it. Yeah, I know this blog's about showing you, but I've got to get on top of it. It gives me the breathing space that I can do the videos. But here doesn't look too good at the moment, and we're going to see how it goes. This is the coffee bush that was on the front corner of the small house, which was dying, and we wanted to dig that out and concrete that space. And Mim's dug a hole over here near the flowers and put it in, and we'll see how it goes. If it lives, it does. If it doesn't, well, we tried. So we'll see what happens there. I've often seen some amazing recoveries of stuff here in Thailand that just would not happen in other climates, or yeah, in Australia for me anyway. So get a better perspective there. Okay, the sun behind me at that point, so it's making it hard for you to see. Yeah, so all good. Plenty to do today. Just tripping over the dog. She's right under your feet. This season is, these few weeks are a festival of Loi Krathong in Thailand, which is normally where they float flowers out over water, and they create little hot air balloons that go up into the sky, which cause great dramas for a lot of the flights. Believe it or not, they go up to quite an altitude that they do become close to the airports an issue for flight. So they're on high alert for this period of time. But the krathongs is normally a pot or something that floats out of the water with flowers and candles and things pressed into the top, like a little sort of flower arrangement or a little presentation thing. They send their prayers and their wishes off across the water with the krathong. Now, the thing that they use traditionally is actually a slice of banana plant. I want to call them trees, but they're not trees. That I'll just turn. This was a banana plant that had fruited, and she'd taken the fruit. Normally what you do is then you cut that plant down to the base. The roots will grow another plant. But this is actually the structure of it inside. As it dries a little bit, the center, which is main carrying water feed, tends to push out like that. But you can see the rings of it. Now, what they do is they cut those, and I'll show it to you in a minute, but they cut them into like an 1.5 to 2 inch sort of slab, like a steak, banana plant steak. You just walk back across on this area which we've opened up and cleaned. There's the dam, we're on the other side of it now. There's the dog. You've seen that view of the dog quite a lot. Head across here. This ground is still quite wet. The dam is there, and there is a pipe under here to where the rubber trees are. So the rubber trees and the dam are actually in equilibrium through that joining pipe. The pipe was originally put there to actually drain the water out of there into the dam. But of course, when that's open and there's water in the dam will actually do reverse feed into here. So once the water gets below that level in the pipe, in the dam, then that water will disappear. And there's that mound of stuff we're waiting to dry that will burn. Now, if I can show you what a clong is, I'll just head up this way. This is a nice little area. That area that we concreted because we had long grass and the concern of things hidden in the grass like snakes and stuff. This turned out to be a real lovely little area to sit. But here we have some more plants here. And here's one that Mem has stripped back. And you can see the structure of the plant there. And she'll cut these into like a steak. And here's one over here she's done. Oh, so pick that up. So that's that there. Now, they will dry out quite quickly. Banana plants have a very, very high volume of water in them. And to keep the clongs happy, they will very, very quickly get very, very dark and to the point of almost being black. So you normally store them in water or underwater. There's a few there now, but Mem will probably fill that up as she cuts that plant down into, call them steaks or rounds, and you can see how they float. And that's the beauty of them. They're floating there in that pot. So they'll put flowers and candles and all sorts of things in those and make an arrangement, and that arrangement will float. So they'll set light to the candles and they'll float it across, and they will float it off across on the water with their wishes and prayers on the evening that they have that ceremony. So that'll be coming up. But for now, that's where we're at. Big pile of manure here that we're dispersing to the places that need it. But you've had enough of my manure for now, so by all means, subscribe. Would like to hear your thoughts and comments. And any questions, happy to try and answer them for you. Maybe it might be something that I could cover and make a topic and make a video to cover it more fully for you and get some vision so you can see it rather than just hear it. I think we all probably learn better from, visually than we do from listening. So please subscribe. The button should be coming up about now, and a few links to some other videos that we've done or some playlists that you might be interested in. Give them the comments, give us a like, and we'll catch up with you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.